6 Common Text Structures in Middle School, a Close Reading and Text-Dependent Analysis Curriculum. Copyright Luke Sullivan, 2020. Cause and Effect. This series examines 6 common nonfiction text structures: description, sequence, chronological, compare and contrast, cause and effect, problem and solution. Text structure is the term used to describe the way information is organized in a passage. Think of it as a flowchart. The lesson begins with a close reading of the text, a marking up of the text, text-dependent questions, completion of a graphic organizer, and the writing of a text-dependent analysis essay. The text structure we're working with today is a cause and effect passage. One action or event caused certain effects to occur. The purpose of using a cause and effect text structure is to identify patterns and explain why things turned out the way they did. Time is often a part of the discussion. Cause and effect passages often contain signaling words pointing out the cause and the effect. Today's text is "Many hits, rather than a big one, pose greatest concussion risk" by Nancy Shute, a Lexile level of 1200. Today's prompt. The passage, "Many hits, rather than a big one, pose greatest concussion risk," describes the effect of many hits to football players. Write an essay analyzing how the author presents her ideas. Use evidence from the text to support your analysis. The prompt states how the author presents. We know that this is referring to the author's craft as one of the 2 elements that need to be examined for interrelationships. The other element from the prompt is her ideas. Informational essays are arranged with a central idea and supporting details. So I'll identify the other element as the central idea. The prompt asks the writer to examine the interrelationship between these 2 elements and then draw a conclusion. It can look like this. The reading technique we'll use is called close reading. This technique stresses determining a purpose before reading. You see what you look for. It also stresses writing notes and descriptors in the text. Studies show that these writings better enable students to identify and discuss text elements. The purpose for this first read is to get the gist of the passage. What's the topic, and what are the big ideas? At the end of each paragraph, write a word or phrase to summarize the information. After you have finished the passage, you'll copy the phrases as sentences in your journal. This can serve as a summary of the passage. Here are some text-dependent questions that only require this surface read. Both summary and comprehension questions are a good way to demonstrate understanding of what was said. The purpose for the second read is to examine the author's craft. How is the passage written? The reader identifies the elements of the cause and effect text structure and writes them in the left margin of the text. How is the information presented? Why is there expert testimony? What's the tone? Complete the diagram by inserting the correct ideas from the passage. The third read is where you decide which text you'll use to support the points you want to make in your essay. You'll be completing a graphic organizer to gather this information. One way is to start with questions that address the interrelationships between the elements. What is the central idea of the passage? Why did the author present this central idea of the text with a cause and effect text structure? Why did the author choose this topic? What conclusions can you make about the author's message? Hunt through the text, finding examples that support the points you want to make. They should address the interrelationships between the 2 elements. Write the author's words in the first column. In the second column, write how the author presented this information. The last column is where you'll explain why the author chose this information to advance the passage. Complete your graphic organizer with the points you'd like to make in your essay. The last step of the work is to use the information from your graphic organizer to write an essay sharing your thoughts. The first sentence of your essay uses words from the prompt and serves as a simple assertion. Older writers might include one of the conclusions they'll introduce later in the essay. The information from each row of the graphic organizer is used to complete a big idea paragraph. The writer organizes the big idea paragraph beginning with the quotation or paraphrase, developing with the text structure inference, and then explaining how this text serves the author's purpose. Use the information from your graphic organizer to write your 3 big idea paragraphs. The last section of the essay is the conclusion. A younger writer will repeat the information from the opening paragraph. An older writer will also echo the opening, but will introduce a something to think about after the essay is done. This can take the form of a "what if this didn't happen?" or by introducing an idea related to one of the text elements. Using the information from your graphic organizer, write an essay answering the TDA prompt. The student now reads her completed essay twice. The first read uses a lens focused on the interrelationships between the 2 elements. Can her big idea paragraphs fit in here? The second read uses the lens of grammar and writing conventions. Good job!